is Tuesday night again, and welcome to another edition of the 802 Cup Series podcast. If you want to find out more about us, you can look up the 802 Racing Leagues on Facebook or look us up on iRacing. Click the 802 Cup Series tab. We're still recruiting, and send us your information. We'll check you out and get back to you if you want to get on. We're in week 8 of our 16-week season. So you can still come on in and join. Always looking for good drivers for our fixed set series. Want to give a shout out to Riptide Radio and Jeff Barefoot for contributing a gift certificate every race to a random driver for Riptide Radio. Great internet radio. That Carolina Shag beach music. I discovered that this summer, and it brought me back to my summers down in Myrtle Beach area, Aiken area, and Augusta. Also, we are broadcast live every week on Extreme Sim TV. And here's what we do on this podcast. It's every week. We have a review of last week's race data, top finishers, point standings, and more. Preview of the upcoming race, track weather, car setups, lap counts, where the comp caution will be every week. And we try to have a guest segment. And tonight we have Bo Condon and Justin Clapper. They're going to be talking about their iRacing League, as well as one of the coolest ideas I've ever heard of, the 24 Beers of Daytona. If we have league news from admin meetings, which we had last night, nothing came up, so there's no league news this week. And we'll have upcoming things and rules update. This week will be at Las Vegas. It is movie night, and we encourage everybody in the league to get their favorite movie and do a paint scheme for that. We just finished Toontown last week, and we had some really cool cartoon schemes. And I saw somebody doing Sesame Street, so I didn't feel too bad doing Teletubbies just as a joke, and ended up finishing pretty well because I don't think anybody wanted to be anywhere near the car with the Teletubbies on it. Well, right now I want to introduce Justin Clapper. He's a pit crew member from Zane Smith's 2022 NASCAR Truck Series champion. And I saw you, Justin, leaping over a pit road wall after you guys won a race last year. I can't imagine what you did after winning the championship. Also with Justin is Bo Condon, and he claims to be the inventor of the 24 Beers of Daytona. Good evening, guys. Thanks for coming back on.
Thanks for having us, man.
You're
really looking forward to getting things rocking and rolling in 2023.
So so we talked about you're going to be changing crews this year, correct? You're changing teams?
Yes. So, yes and no at the same time. So, not only did I work with Zane Smith and the Truck Series crew, I was also on the Xfinity Series crew for Jordan Anderson Racing. As Jackman last year, I will be remaining there and staying with Jordan Anderson Racing this year. But that team has moved over to the now number 27 with Jeb Burton taking the wheel, and looking forward to that opportunity there and kind of moving up through the series. And we got some Truck Series stuff getting finalized on where I'm going to land there. Kind of under a new deal and under a new, employer, as you would call it. The pit world's kind of weird on how things work and how they put us out there. But bright future for this year. Looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, congratulations once again on that Truck Series championship. That must have been crazy. And you said you're just recovering from the celebrations from that?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if I've fully recovered yet, but no, all jokes aside, man, it's been a blast. It was a really, really, really cool experience, something I'll never forget. The Nashville banquet week was unbelievable.
Well, I got to say, you do clean up nice. I saw you in the tux there.
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I mean, for someone that doesn't dress up much often, I enjoyed that. And that was really fun.
Cool. And Bo, what are you up to? You were doing some type of media stuff for racing last year, weren't you?
Yes, so I own RL Productions LLC out of Baltimore, Maryland, a video production company that specializes in video marketing, and we do supply all of the video marketing assets for the Thunderclap stock car iRacing series, soon to be rebranded. More news on that later. It will still be Interclap, but we are adding a new title sponsor to that, so that will be some new news coming shortly.
Great.
So we added Sim Racing Media as our broadcasters for last year, and we also, we just kept killing it with it allowed me to do more video assets for the league itself, and was able to focus in that respect. And hopefully, sooner or later, I'll be able to come down to the racetracks, and instead of bringing coolers, I'll be able to bring some cameras. But until then, I'm still just bringing coolers, which honestly, I think I'm getting the good end of the deal compared to what Justin's doing.
It sounds like it. And like I was telling Justin before we went on the air, was because you guys were on, it was actually March 26th last year, because I was going back through the records. And I think it was March 4th. No, it wasn't the 26th. I'm sorry. Well, anyway, whenever you guys were on last year, we were talking about my son Sam wanting to get into more into the photography and stuff like that. And Justin asked me, so what happened? I said, well, all of a sudden he was working for Podium Finish, and he's doing social media and photography for New England Motorcycle Road Racing. So he made it to about 7 NASCAR races last year. He used to work with me over at Lime Rock, but he's on the other side of the fence taking photos at IMSA and stuff like that. So it's great. When you're not doing the racing for media, what else video stuff do you do?
So we specialize in commercial advertising and video marketing for all of our clients, essentially in the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area. Cool. We are also national as far as our conferences and event capture services. We actually fly out to Dallas at the beginning, actually Daytona 500 weekend in February. We head out to Dallas to cover a conference, and we do conferences in San Francisco, down in Orlando, just a couple different areas out there, just essentially capturing all of the cool stuff that our clients bring to their clientele and making sure that they look awesome and that they get to essentially just do the live streaming. We do a lot of the audio broadcasting. We'll do a lot of the iMag, which is essentially the screens that you see up on the walls at conferences and things like that. It's just a lot of stuff that it's more than just little videos. There's a lot of graphics involved with it too.
Yep.
And a lot of really technical stuff that we don't have time to talk about on the podcast.
No, I understand. I got a friend of mine that I was doing talk radio with locally. He does the same thing, but on a much, much smaller scale. The conferences, school plays, and stuff like that. So a little familiar with it, but I envy you, because I love doing stuff like that. So let's talk about the 24 Beers of Daytona. Give me a recap of last year's event and what changes are coming this year, if any, and any surprises that anybody can look for this year.
Well, it was something to recap. I mean, we talked about it last year, but it was something that came to mind after Justin and I and a bunch of the boys had just gotten done running a race, and after a couple of beers, I said, what would be a really great idea?
That's great.
If we just we forced people to drink beers and do laps at the same time.
Yep.
And made the most insane version of Beerio Kart imaginable, and thus the 24 Beers at Daytona was invented.
Cool. And how were you guys happy with the turnout?
So last year's turnout was great. It was an international event. Justin might be able to help me on the countries that were there. I couldn't see straight. But
I
know we had some representation from Australia.
Yeah.
I want to say Hungary was involved. There was someone from somewhere very unique that you wouldn't expect.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Hungary or somewhere south of Germany, something like that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so it ended up being an international event. We had about 40 drivers involved. Unfortunately, not all of them made it to the final stint, but that's understandable. When you, as a single person, have to drink a minimum of 12 beers, it can be a lot for some guys. Some of us call that an afternoon, but
yes.
Not everybody does.
Right. So, and again, it wasn't a full 24 hours. So a lot of these guys that were probably doing the 3-hour session probably pounded down most of them then and fell asleep and couldn't come back the next morning.
Yeah, there was a lot of hares in that race when there should have been a lot more turtles. It's considered beers.
And who was the winner?
We don't talk about it.
The team of Justin White and Roger Debo were the winners. Looking to dethrone those guys this year.
Uh-huh. So, you also raced in it, correct?
Yeah, so what's cool about this event is not only do we put it together, but we also race in it. So myself, I got a team. So I started a team up this year, rebranded from Champion Motorsports. It's now Mid-Pack Motorsports.
Mhm.
Figured it was fitting for where we usually finish.
It sounds like me.
So yeah, we have 5 drivers on that team, but we're actually doing a little merger with True Speed Racing for this event. So it'll be MPM True Speed Racing running the 24 Beers event. It'll be myself, Tyler Chalk, and we're up in the air on our final 2 drivers right now. Sheldon Martin ran on my team last year. We have a friend, Sammy, that might be participating. But I know, Bo, if you want to announce your team name, I think it's pretty clever.
Yes, so our team name is Door Bumper Beer Racing or Motorsports. I'll get back to you on it. I can never remember which one we picked, but I was drinking. Just kidding. I believe we're going to stick with Door Bumper Beer Motorsports. That will be our team name through the 24 Beers event, as well as in the Thunderclap Stock Car Series for 2023. That will, for now, it will include myself, Chase Leahy, Dominic Cahart, and my father, Bob Condon, will be the honorary crew chief, and he's looking to get some laps in during the event himself.
Excellent. And what's the format this year?
So this year's format is different than last year. Last year we did all LMP2s the entire time because they're just a lot of fun to take around the track.
Yep.
But pretty much, however many beers in we were in that first session last year, we said, it would be really silly if we changed the car every session. So, that's what we're doing this year. The first session will begin with the GTE classes. So you'll have the Corvette CR8Rs, you'll have the Ferrari, I think it's the 488 GTBs. You'll have Lamborghini Huracans out there. A lot of those fun cars that'll go around the track. Really looking forward to getting those out there. I've always wanted to take those in a official event out on the road course. And then the second session will be the NASCAR Next Gens, which is, I feel like that's like a rainstorm in the third quarter of a football game.
Yep.
That's just going to throw a monkey wrench into the whole thing. Some people say it's not a car that deserves to be on that track. They're probably right. Some people say it's not a car that deserves to be, period. And for those reasons, I think I'm one of those guys. I think it'll create exciting racing and exciting viewership just because on top of all that, we're forcing guys to drink a certain amount of beers while that's happening.
Well, I was going to say, why should they care what you're driving as long as you're drinking?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dang it.
My car is a bar, and I'm driving myself to drink.
Yeah, see?
Sipping and steering, fellows. Come on.
I will have to send you a picture of actually the device that I've put together so that I do not have to take my hands off the wheel. Okay. It is a gas can cup from Racing's North Turn in Daytona that it's a cup that looks like a gas can. It's at the perfect angle that when I spin it towards me on this C-stand, I can just put my lips up to it like a baby's nipple or a baby's bottle, and there you go. I don't have to worry about taking my hands off the wheel. But
what a brilliant idea! I have one too.
That's great. You got to see this
is like a rabbit feeder.
Yeah, that is genius.
And what are you finishing up with session 3?
Session 3, we will return back to the LMP2s that we started with last year. I think that's just the best thing that we can end the race with. Even though everyone will be in the cups, it will still allow for the true drivers to show their talents and hopefully create a very exciting finish like we had last year, but we'd like it to be even closer this year.
Great. So you said teams of 1 to 4. What was your average number of guys on a team?
feel like most of them were four team drivers.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
for the
cool.
most part last night, I want to say we had. So I think we ended up finishing with just under 20 cars on the track. I think ended up running, but we had well over 30 members join the event. So when you kind of do the math on it all, you're looking at everybody had at least two. Nobody did it solo.
Yeah.
There are some brave souls this year that are thinking about doing it.
Oh, man.
And something I want to add to the changes for this year, unlike last year where we ran all 3 hours, 4 3-hour sessions, the final session is actually a 6-hour session.
I saw that, yeah.
So kind of, get to. So we kind of want to change it up. So you have your gaps, your time in between. We want to make sure everybody's able to, get their sleep. As I try to pull the schedule up here,
And their beers.
And the beers.
So I mean, you're looking at this session ends at midnight on Saturday, and then Sunday you're looking at a 9 a.m. start for that final stint. Checker flag is 3 p.m. All these times are Eastern.
Yeah.
The dates are February 4th to February 5th. And what's really nice about this is for you NASCAR fans out there, with this event ending right at 3 p.m. Eastern time, the Clash in LA is at 5 p.m. So
good
give you
timing.
a couple hours to kind of, you got a good buzz going that final session. You're ready to rock and roll and relax, and we can keep the party rolling in Discord if they would like, and do a little
crazy.
viewing party or however you want to do it.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that part of it, is wrapping it up and joining everybody after.
So you finish at midnight on Saturday, and you're expecting drivers to show up at 9 o'clock the next morning all hungover and crap?
Absolutely.
Honestly, so a lot of the guys are, and the reason we extended this session is a lot of the guys said, hey, we wish, the sessions were longer. And we thought we would get the opposite, with the drinking involved and a lack of pee breaks and stuff like that. I said, I'm surprised these guys really, they are so dedicated to this event, and I love the participation of it.
That's cool.
That they want to keep going all night. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna take this idea, and we're not advertising this, but I'll announce it here. I'm gonna set up sessions throughout the night for practice. So I'll set up LP2 practice sessions all night long. And if guys want to stay in the Discord, we share our webcams, we share music. We actually we'll have YouTube playing where everybody can pick a song next and have the playlist going. We'll get music jamming all night long. We play a couple rounds of Thunderstruck. We did it during a snowball beer ball event. We called it about a month ago, and it was some of the most fun I've ever had.
That sounds crazy.
Just in general, nevertheless, on an iRacing server, gaming server, or anything. Yep. It brought me back to early high school years of being up all night on a video game. It was really, really fun doing that. So I think getting that vibe with everybody. If they want to stay up all night and then we keep digging the next day, let's do it. But I'm sure it'll make Monday morning pretty rough.
Yeah.
Well, there still will likely be a mandatory there's going to be a mandatory pit stop at the halfway point in that final session, and there will likely be a game of Thunderstruck played during that mandatory pit stop.
It kind of makes sense when you step back and think about it, the longer session for the last day, because if everybody's having a blast and that last session's only a couple hours, it's kind of anticlimactic at that point if you've already made it through the overnight sessions.
Right.
Cool.
Right, yeah, and that was kind of something that with last year, a lot of the guys knocked their drinking out so fast, they were sober for the final day.
Oh, that can't be allowed.
And so a lot of it, I feel like, if we kind of stretch that session on Sunday a little bit, it kind of gets that vibe back. And with it also being the day of the NASCAR Cup Series Clash in LA, it really kind of helps, almost like a pre-race festivity. It gets the guys pumped up. It's the week after the real 24, so where we did this at the same time of the real 24 last year, now it gives everybody the opportunity. We got a lot of these drivers are attending it. Some are crew members in this event, and we can watch and learn. I don't know how much you throw the alcohol in the mix, how much the memory is going to stay, but we like to sit here and act like we're learning something. So this next month, when it comes to racing, man, it gets here quick. That off season comes and goes.
Yeah, so give us the dates again for the 24 Beers of Daytona.
Yeah, so it will be February 4th and the 5th. Everything will start at noon with our drinking hours, and 12:50 will be the practice session. 3 p.m. Eastern Time will be the first session. Everything is free entry. Portions of this segment, definitely the start and finish, will be broadcasted live on Sim Racing Media on YouTube.
Okay.
Go ahead and subscribe to them if you don't already. For the Thundercloud Stock Car iRacing series, will be on there every Wednesday night starting March 1st.
Cool.
But yeah, so the sessions, 3 p.m. start. That session will end at 6. You have a 3-hour gap. 9 p.m. will be the start of session 2. That session will wrap up at midnight. And then we will fire things back up again at 9 a.m. the next morning, on Sunday morning. LMP2s take the track, and that'll be our final session. That'll end about 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
That sounds cool. Well, you know, if session 1 finishes at 9 and session 2 starts at midnight, everybody, if it's a Saturday night, I think most people are just going to keep on drinking.
I think you're absolutely right, and a big thing to keep in mind.
So the sessions start at 3 and 9, so we'll be done by midnight.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yeah, we gotta let these guys get a little bit. So realistically, you should get roughly about 8 hours of sleep. Still,
okay.
we're trying to give you guys some credit.
Or 8 more hours.
I know me personally, I'll probably be watching the sun come up.
Yeah, or 8 more hours of drinking.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I said 8 more hours of drinking.
Exactly.
There you go.
And you got to keep in mind too that these drivers, there's mandatory beers that they have to finish. So a team of 1 to 2, that's 24 beers.
Right.
Essentially, it's the 24 beers. We mean 24 beers. We don't mean 24 hours. A team of 3, that's 36 beers. A team of 4, that's 48 beers. There is such a thing as a sober driver provisional. They are given out on a case-by-case basis. We haven't had any requests for those this year, which we're happy about. I will say last year I was on a team that had a sober driver provisional.
Yeah.
That person did not get to run as many stints as me and my father did. It made me and my father have to consume 18 beers, and I'll say we were done by midnight.
So as long as it's 12 beers per driver, regardless of how many are on the team, correct?
Correct. Right. Exactly.
Okay. And is it so many per session, or can I drink, if I'm in, can I drink all 12 of them on Saturday and then race the last 2 clean? Okay. But that's no fun.
So you have to have at least 12 finished by so your beers for your total team have to be at the halfway mark, essentially, by midnight.
Got it. Right.
So we don't want to have a situation where, nobody's really participating in the first portion, but we also want it where, if you put a little strategy into it, do you want to go hard that first session, or maybe you try to drink on Sunday if you feel like that's an easier vehicle for you.
There you go.
But essentially, it's up to them on how they want to do it. It's just they have to be consumed by that point. And and to Bo's point earlier, something we want to clarify on. A lot of the guys kind of try to nitpick certain things when it comes to this event, but we want to be really, really clear in the name, and it's right there in the name. This is the 24 Beers of Daytona. It's not 24 hours of Daytona edited, whatever. Yes, we use that similar concept of the 24 hours, but when it comes to the 24, it's for the consumption of beers, not so much the time you're on track. Granted, it's over a 24-hour period for the most part, but what would an alcoholic event be without a little bit of wildness in the schedule?
Sure. In case you pass out,
Exactly. And you know what? You got 9 hours between the second and third session in case you do.
Right.
Yeah, he's talking about those overnight sessions. Look, I'm trying to win this thing. No, I am going to bed.
Got it. So
that's a lot.
If anybody out there,
I was going to say, you got me chuckling over here.
That's a freaking lie. I know I will be away.
If anybody wants to sign up to run the 24 Beers of Daytona, what do they do? What's the deadline? How do they get in touch with you? I know you got to go to mandatory sign up on a Discord, correct?
So there's a handful of ways that you can do this. If you follow Thunderclap Stock Car iRacing Series on Facebook, There's some information there. You can find me on Facebook, Justin Clapper, or you can find Bo Condon on Facebook. Shoot us a message. We'll direct you to it. But yeah, just being a part of the 24 Beers of Daytona Discord. If you can't get a hold of that, you can shoot us an email at thunderclapracing@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. I'll get you all the information you need. You get into the Discord, and then all the information in there when it comes to scheduling, event information, rules. We have a document, a Google Doc for all your driver information and some hometown fun fact stuff for the broadcast. We even have the link in there for the iRacing registry. So you can even search us in iRacing and just go ahead. It's a free entry, and we're accepting all entries for this event. So we just want everybody to participate and have fun. We got a channel in the Discord for beer confirmation. So if you're participating in this event, hold on to your cans and bottles, folks, because that's going to be your receipt pretty much when it comes to whether you win or lose this event.
Yeah. So it is on the honor system, but you think that most everybody is on the up and up when they're racing.
Yeah, the participation of it is really respectful. Maybe somebody's trying to tweak the rules a little bit. We expect that, but a lot of the guys try to at least have their rig in the background or some kind of proof that they did it, or maybe what time it is or stuff like that. And really, we just kind of say, okay, now's the time to post your photos. So we look at the timestamps and stuff like that. And we just, this is a fun event. We hope everybody participates the proper way.
Now, at the end of the day, if anybody thinks, well, hell, I know how to beat this system, and they want to go ahead and pour water in their beer cans, they beat a bunch of drunks on the racetrack. They haven't really proved anything.
That's true. And that's what I was going to say. It would be kind of embarrassing to say you beat a bunch of drunks anyway.
Right.
Now, any ragging go on for someone that's drinking a cheap beer, or any ragging go on for the hipsters that come in and with their fancy IPAs?
All beers were created equal around here.
There you go.
Well said. Well said.
Yep.
Unless it's Coors Light.
I'm sure there will be some smack talking. The more we get in there, it does get fun. And being the time of year with NFL football going on and stuff like that, racing starting up, I'm sure the smack talk will be escalated a little bit. And that's why we wanted to push this event to a date when it didn't really interfere with anything.
Oh, I think it's great doing it the week after the 24 hours. Now, does it have to be beer, or can it be hard cider, hard tea, or for the wine totalers? What about them?
Those do count.
But they do, okay.
Yes. Yeah, essentially it has to be a packaged good.
Oh, okay.
It can be, you can drink 40s, you can drink, 16-ounce beers, whatever. And on the official rules page in Discord, you can see, essentially, you're being judged by your fluid ounces.
Yeah, 288 fluid ounces is what I'm reading here.
Is your 24 beers. So we don't care how that gets to you, as long as it's in a packaged good. It cannot come from something you pre-mixed or something that was unscrewed and then rescrewed.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I remember last year when you mentioned that it's in the rules, 288 fluid ounces of beer. I started cracking up for something like that being in the rules. That's crazy.
We know math.
If
you're just tuning in, this is the 802
Series podcast. I mean, it's so cool to see this event. I mean, we talked about the amount of people that were in it last year, and I'm trying to see if I can pull up how many members are in it right now.
120 something.
Yeah, I mean, that's how many are in our Discord right now.
Yeah.
In our registry currently on iRacing, as I check it momentarily.
If you're just tuning in, this is the 802 Cup Series podcast. My guests tonight are Bo Condon and Justin Clapper, talking about the 24 Beers of Daytona coming up the weekend of the Clash, and also they run the Thunderclap Stock Car Series on iRacing.
Yeah, so right now we have 43 confirmed in the league directory, but like I said, 120 plus in Discord. So a lot of these guys still have to hop on over to the server itself. So looking forward to a big turnout this year.
Okay. What is there a field limit for the maximum number of cars?
More the merrier.
Cool. Okay. So let's move on to the Thunderclap Stock Car Series. When did that start? How many different leagues do you run under that, and when's your next one starting?
So the Thunderclap Stock Car iRacing Series actually transitioned from an Xbox league, formerly known as the Hellraiser League. It was on during COVID, and a lot of when everybody within the NASCAR industry started hopping over on the iRacing, when that became really popular, when they're streaming like the Pro League races and stuff like that on FS1 and the Invitationals, we made the decision that winter to finally hop over, and we did an Invitational series that was. Had its bumpy roads, but by the end of it, we were like, "Wow, we really have something here."
Cool.
And so last year, we switched the name to the Thunderclap Stock Car iRacing Series. We brought in a race control. We found a full-time broadcaster, and got us some admins. Moved some people around to do different jobs for the league, and boy, is it taken off.
Cool.
I mean, I think we average about 300 views or so a race on a broadcast, and there were some that were upwards of 500 or so. So looking forward to doubling that this year.
Cool.
But it's taken off, and this year, I mean, it's growing even more. Now we're up to 2 race controls in the tower. We have extensive rule book. So we're the ones that actually host these fun exhibition events. But we do take this league. This is like our serious. Kind of treating it like it's the real deal the best we can, but also having a great time and a lot of fun doing it. It's $50 for the season. If you're interested, shoot thunderclapracing@gmail.com an email or message myself. I'll get you all the details on that. We take payment through Venmo and Zelle. We begin on March 1st for it'll be a single car qualifying in a unique way. We're actually going to have an open session, and we're going to have a qualifying order and send each car out individually and make the broadcast really entertaining. Followed up by 2 duels to set the lineup. Right now we have, as of an hour ago, we're at 39 confirmed paid entries. So looking forward to seeing if we can hit our limit of 64, and that limit, we actually implemented charters this year. So our top 5 in points last year is locked in with a free charter, and then we put on the market 15 charters or so to kind of give these guys a guaranteed entry every week, and unlimited EOLs and some payout perks as well if they were to win that race. So looking right now, if we get if we get 2 more guys to sign up, you're looking at 21 guys battling for 20 spots. So there's a chance of knockout qualifying where some guys might not make the event. So looking forward to that.
That's
He
interesting.
keeps adding people, and I keep falling backwards in where I'm going to end up finishing.
It sounds like me.
You're not the only one, my friend.
Yep. Yeah, because you don't have to worry if you're in a league or I'm an admin that I'm racing, because I'm not going to win. If I finish 10th, I'm happy. Sunday I finished 13th at Dover, and that was a crazy race, and I was quite happy with that finish. What about driver requirements to get on license, iRating, SR, anything like that? How do you? Is there an iRating cap?
So our race control director, Justin Wright, likes to analyze that stuff. We don't have a requirement. We are open to everybody. We accept everybody in there. All we ask of you is to obey the rule book and kind of know your level of talents. I mean, we got some of the best on iRacing in our league. We have Joe Gibbs Racing driver Ryan Truex, who's going to be running some part-time stuff in the Xfinity Series this year. Parker Ritzlaw is looking to join this year. He's going to be driving the 31 Xfinity ride for Jordan Anderson Racing. We have a lot of crew members, mechanics, engineers, stuff like that, guys that work on these things all day, and they come home on Wednesday nights and get ready to wax our tails. It's a fun field, but we got a mixed bag. We got some guys that, it's only been a couple years on the server, and then we have guys that have been doing this for 15, 20 years.
Wow.
So it's fun because you come in there, and whether you're running second or 22nd, you're out there sawing on a wheel and getting after and having a total blast. I mean, the end of last year, our championship race actually ended under a fuel mileage because we had about 30 cars, and it ended under green because everybody stayed clean and kept the noses clean and followed the rules. And our race control does a fantastic job of making sure everything goes as smooth as possible.
Right. So do you guys run fixed or open setups?
It's fixed setups. We're still up in the air right now on a potential company to come in as the official setup builder for Thunderclap. There's been some discussions on that. We'll make an announcement on our social media pages for all that stuff. So follow us on Facebook at Thunderclap Stock Car iRacing Series, and any and all information that comes along will be in there. And same when it comes to 24 Beers, shoot us a message, and we'll hand you the Discord information as well. And that's where everything will drop first, is in our Discord, and then we make it public on social.
So it's going to be fixed setup, but you're looking at a custom fixed setup for each track.
Yeah, I mean, that's a potential idea we have right now. We have a few guys that are tossing the idea around. Nothing finalized yet, but either way, it'll be a fixed setup, so everybody will run the same setup each session. We will post the session in our Discord a week prior, so everybody has time to test and practice for the following week. And, we want to make it fair for everybody.
Gotcha.
We want clean racing. We want fun side by side. We do not encourage any kind of wrecking or intentional wrecking or door slamming stuff. We're a league that really enjoys cleanliness when it comes to racing, and we want to keep it that way. But we also want guys to race hard.
Sure.
We had our Nashville cutoff race for the Final Four. Was 3-4 wide for the final 15 laps for the lead, and it was insane.
Sounds like it. Nashville's a tough track.
Yeah, I mean that race, it blew all our minds with how incredible it was, and I'm almost positive that's our in our playoffs again this year. Let's see. It's actually a regular season cutoff race this year, so that's going to be really exciting.
Okay. And how many races in the season, and then briefly explain your playoff system?
It's a 26-race season with 10 playoff races. So we have 16 regular season. It's 27 total events if you include qualifying in the duels, because we will do that on March 1st, and then we'll come back the next week on the 8th to run our opening Daytona 250. We actually are doing something super cool this year, where every year we've done a throwback race, and it's just kind of been paint scheme inspired.
Right.
This year what we're doing is we're not only throwing back the theme, but we're throwing back the track and the vehicle. So we actually rotate through all three series. So we start on the next gen. So each week we could be either in a next gen or an Xfinity car or in a truck. We alternated every week.
Okay.
But for the throwback race, we will be running the 2008 Atlanta and in the COT cars.
The cars of tomorrow.
Yes, sir. So running the cars tomorrow Impalas for that event. That'll be week 12. Will be our throwback race. And after week 16, we have what's called the Forming 16. That'll be a 3-week event for the first round of playoffs. Milwaukee Trucks Brickyard Oval for Xfinity, and closing that round out at Watkins Glen with the next gen. And then the Cloudy 12, again, we rotated. And what's cool about the playoff concept this year, we're finishing each round with a different vehicle. So the Forming 16, we finished with the next gen. The Cloudy 12, as we're calling it this year, is Darlington, Dover, Atlanta. It'll be Xfinity, and the next gen closing that round out in the Truck Series. And then we will go to the Dark 8 at Pocono in the next gen, Iowa Trucks, Michigan Xfinity, and the Lightning 4 returns to Homestead this year in the next gen car.
Sounds pretty exciting. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on. Why don't we do a quick wrap-up here about Bo Condon and Justin Clapper talking about the 24 Beers of Daytona and the Thunderclap Stock Car Series. So why don't you throw out some information one more time on the 24 Beers of Daytona, and then we're all set.
Yeah, catch it March 4th and 5th.
February 4th and 5th.
Oh, jeez. Lord me. I'm looking at the wrong thing
You
here.
drinking already?
I think I'm drinking early.
Drinking already.
Yeah. That's not because we have multiple schedules in front of you. But yeah, so 24 Beers of Daytona 2023 kicks off February 4th. It will begin at noon on that day. First session takes the green flag at 3 p.m. and February 5th will take the green flag for the final session at 9 a.m. All the action live on Sim Racing Media on YouTube. Times for the exact broadcast will be posted on Thunderclap Stock Car iRacing Series on Facebook. If you're interested in the event, you can find all the details you need in our Discord. I can send to you via email at thunderclapracing@gmail.com.
And can I do a quick mic drop really quick about the 24 Beers? Because something that we have not told any of the drivers that will be participating is that there will be a pour before the 24 event, and it will be taking place Saturday, January 28th. This will be open to all drivers within the Discord, within the 24 Beers Discord. This is dropping for the first time. They don't even know about it yet, so they'll have to find out on the broadcast. But essentially we will have a pour before the 24. This will be a 4-hour session that has all 3 classes on track at the same time. This is just a for fun race. Yep. It'll give guys an opportunity to get more practice in and essentially pick whatever car they want to do for the race and see if they like its chances out there on the track.
There you go. Well, guys, always exciting when you two come on, and Justin, have a great season. I'll be looking for you there. I might even, if I get my pit passes for Watkins Glen, I'll try to look you up and say hi this year. So look out for my kid out there, Sam Drace. He'll be taking photos. Long-haired, hipster-looking dude, but he claims he's not a hipster, but he is. He's a good photographer, so he'll be looking for you guys too. So thanks again for coming on, and maybe we'll check back after the 24 Beers of Daytona and see how it went.
Sounds good, man. Appreciate you, and thanks for having us. Looking forward to it. See y'all February 4th.
All right, good luck, guys.
Thank you for having us on. Appreciate your time and appreciate everything that you do.
All right, thanks a lot. Good night.
Bye.
Bo Condon and Justin Clapper talking about the 24 Beers of Daytona coming up February 4th and 5th. It's not 24 hours, it's 24 beers. You got to have 12 beers per driver. And one of the funniest things I ever heard him say, it's right there in the rules, 288 fluid ounces per driver is minimum. So check them out on Facebook, check them out on Discord, and also their Thunderclap Stock Car Series with drivers including Ryan Truex and other NASCAR drivers and pit crew mechanics, and sounds like a blast. And once again, Bo and Justin, thanks for coming on, and we'll certainly talk to you guys again later on. Now we're going to get back into the 802 Cup Series podcast. I'm going to take a look right now at the Dover race snapshot from last weekend, and also want to shout out one more time to Riptide Radio for providing a gift card to a random driver every week so you can soak up the sounds of that Carolina shag. At Dover, the average lap time was 38.586 seconds. We ran really well. There's only one caution before the comp caution, and then things kind of went a little south after that. It was 168 laps completed as we went through 2 green-white checkers. 12 cautions, 47 laps under caution, a whopping 17 lead changes across almost 170 laps. So practically, every 10 laps there was a new leader. And average strength of field this week was 1539. Let's take a look at the starting grid from Dover last week. Johnny Barker was on the pole, and his average time was 23.115 for his 2 laps. Frank Zingen was P2. His average lap time was 23.092. And fellow teammate Mike Fish from Joe Sixpack Racing was P3 on the grid with an average time of 23.221, followed by Brandon Redford, Rob Lowell, Larry Murphy, John Bewley, David Lamaga, Brandon Garand, and Kenny Reel. The average lap times for qualifying in the top 10 was 23.115 to 23.431. So pretty tight racing there in the top 10. Results from Dover. Frank Zingen, the car number 62. He started in second place and he led 11 laps. Finishing in P2 was Rob Lowell, car number 21. He was just about a half a second behind the winner. He led 120 laps of the race. So he led 120 laps of the 168 ran. Third place, P3 on the podium, Larry Murphy in the car number 30. He finished 1.86 seconds behind and he led 3 laps. Dave Lamaga finished 4th. Chris Max finished 5th. Eli Raposa finished 6th. Brandon Redford finished 7th. He led 3 laps. Jason Wiley finished in 8th place. And the last one of the top 10 to lead a lap, John Bewley in number 9th place, car number 47. He led 1 lap, and rounding out the top 10 in car number 1, Art Greco. He finished about 6.8 seconds back, and that's the top finishers. So as of week 8, the points leaders for the 802 Cup Series are first place is Dave Lamaga with 330 points and 2 wins. Second place is Rob Lowell, 322 points and 3 wins. Third place is Frank Zingen with 321 points, and he got his win this past Sunday. Fourth place, Brandon Garand, 310 points. Jason Wiley's in 5th with 1 win at 297 points, followed closely in 6th place by Johnny Barker with 296 points. And not too far back in P7 is John Bewley, 294 points and 1 win. And just outside the cut line in P8 is Eli Raposa with 291 points, followed by Michael Fish with 288 points. That rounds out the top 9. We didn't do it last week, but we got it this week, the rookie points of the year. I want to give a shout out to Kerry Shaver, the driver of the car number 18, for sponsoring the Rookie of the Year award. Rookie of the Year at the end of the season with the most points gets $30 prize. And first place there is Frank Zingen with 58 points, John Bewley in second with 47, followed by Larry Murphy with 41, Mike Fish with 39, Chris Ritchie with 38, Chris Max also with 38, Brandon Richard with 37, Cole Jarrett with 32, fellow teammate Aaron Brown on the Joe Sixpack Racing team with 31 points, Charles Dickey, another Joe Sixpack Racing team member with 27 points, Matt Fanoof has 26 points, followed by Kenny Reel with 13, Isaac Balsamo, former teammate of mine, no longer in the league, with 10, Eddie Bruno with 4, and Josh Leclerc with 3 points. And that's the rookie points as of week 8. And the winner gets $30 prize, and that's sponsored by Kerry Shaver, driver of the car, number 18. Next Thursday night, January 26th, is the second edition of the No Rules Roller Derby. This will be a Joe Sixpack Racing event. It'll be the Gander trucks, Camping World trucks, whatever you want to call them, on Bristol dirt. Again, it is not race like you want to be raced. It is wreck like you want to be wrecked. It's a 30-minute race, and after 30 minutes of mayhem and crashing and breaking all the rules, whoever's in first place gets a $100 prize. We've added second and third prize for this event. Second place is $50, third place is $25, so a total of $170 prize money up for grabs. It is first come, first serve. It is under hosted, and you can look it up as either under host name, DRAISS, last name Drace, or the No Rules Roller Derby. And that'll be next Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's Gander Trucks Bristol Dirt Race. And basically, there's no rules. The only rules you can't break are driving the wrong way around the track or speeding on pit road. But we'll clear most of the black flags if you get shoved down pit road during a wreck, but not going to clear them if you're driving backwards. So it's pretty much a combination of roller derby, an enduro, and a demolition derby. And the last time we did this, we did the Whalen Modifieds at Lernerville on dirt, and it was crazy. We still had half the race to go, and some guys were 50 laps down, but they were having so much fun they continued racing anyway. This weekend will be at Las Vegas. Want to make you aware of a change in the lap count. It was originally scheduled for 100 laps at the admin meeting last night. We all agreed to extend it a little bit because 100 laps at Las Vegas, where there's not many cautions, will be over in about 30 or 40 minutes. So we've changed the race to 130 laps. And again, that's changed from 100. If you see the schedule, it will still say 100, but it's 130 laps at Las Vegas. And competition caution at 30% is probably going to be around lap between 38 and 40, somewhere around there. So look out for the exact number for that. Car setups for this week: maximum fuel 75%. Max tire changes 3, so you got 4 sets of tires like normal for the entire race. 2 quick repairs. And this week's theme, actually, let's talk about the weather. There's 78 degrees, 55% humidity, and it is a night race. Green flag drop will be 8:43 p.m. track time. And we get online at 6:45 for practice. And right after that, we go green after qualifying. It's movie time. It's movie night at Las Vegas Speedway, Sunday, January 22nd. Drag out your popcorn and dress up your car with your favorite paint scheme for movies. And I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do. I've seen a couple of the paint schemes. They're looking pretty cool there. And just a reminder, that is the Las Vegas movie time and 130 laps. And again, that's a change from 100 laps. So if you're practicing this week, make sure you're setting everything right and paying attention. That's 130 laps, not 100, because that will definitely change your pit strategy, etc., like that. Here's a couple of the paint schemes from Rob Lowell and Dave Lamaga that are out there now for preview for the movie night paint review for this weekend's race for week 9 at the 802 Cup Series. And again, a shout out to Jeff Barefoot for providing gift card every week for Riptide Radio. Picks a random driver and they can listen to some great Carolina Shag Beach music. And also the 802 Cup Series Rookie of the Year Award, sponsored by Kerry Shaver, driver of the car number 18. Rookie that has the most points at the end of the season gets $30. And just another reminder, the No Rules Roller Derby, Bristol Dirt, next week, Thursday, July 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You've been listening to the 802 Cup Series podcast. Next episode will be Tuesday night next week, January 24th, 8 p.m. Scheduled guest, Charlie Dickey, just joined our team, Joe from the Joe Sixpack Racing team. We'll be talking about racing, the advantages of racing on a team. I can't toss that out there enough. Adds a whole nother dimension to iRacing and racing in leagues. This has been the 802 Cup Series podcast. I'm Greg Dreiss. You can catch this live right now on Twitch TV/Greg Dreiss, or it'll be up there for 14 days after this. Also be later on uploaded to YouTube, and then we'll take the audio and send that out to Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all the major podcast platforms. If you'd like to know more about the 802 Cup Series, you can look us up on Facebook, the 802 Racing Leagues on Facebook, or under iRacing Leagues, just look for the 802 Cup Series tab. Click on that. request an invite to join. It's pretty much it's just a great league, relaxed league, looking for casual guys that want to race casually but competitively, and just out there to have a good time. That's what we're all about. We run fixed set next gen cars on Sunday night, and practice opens at 6:45 p.m. Eastern time. We are still taking league members. We're going to week 9. We're about halfway through the season. So that's the 802 Cup Series. You can find us on Facebook, also on iRacing Leagues, the 802 Cup Series tab. Click Ask for an Invite, and the admins will get back to you pretty quick. Thanks for listening. And again, we'll be back next Tuesday night at 8 p.m., Tuesday, January 24th, with special guest Charlie Dickey from the Joe Sixpack Racing Team. We'll have a review of movie night at Las Vegas. Throw up some more paint schemes. We'll review the race finishes, points, rookie points, and have the information for week 10 coming up. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the track.